Hey, how are you? We have a big itinerary for today, and I will try not to hold you up like a teacher talking after the bell. But I have some apologies to make, some news to disseminate, and some actions to take after this video wraps up that will hopefully foster a community of healthy conversations, collaborations, and inclusivity for all. Let's start with some context. I made a video in the beginning of February talking about gender performativity and what I called the surveillance of womanhood. There are some things that I'm proud of with respect to the video. I'm proud of pushing myself to explore complex theory again. I'm proud of the conversation that the video started in the comments section. And I'm grateful in a way for the video because it sort of opened up the floodgates on an aspect of my identity that I've been pondering for a while now. However, there are still some flaws with the video that need to be addressed. Number one, the language I used throughout the video is confusing. Looking back on it, I needed to be a lot more concise and intentional with my language in a way that everyone can understand, as well as in a way that wasn't alienating or invalidating to trans people. I used the term AFAB to refer to people assigned female at birth, including non-binary people, trans men, and cis women, and I framed it this way because I assumed that everyone assigned female at birth is expected, socialized, or forced to present femininity at some point due to the strictness of our binary system or due to their upbringing. Of course, there are trans people who related to the information in the video, and I don't want to invalidate their perspective, but there were also a lot of trans people who did not relate and in fact were invalidated by the assumption I made. As one commenter pointed out, by conflating the assignment of female at birth with the performativity of womanhood, I quote, make the assertion that AFAB is a gender, that womanhood is the implied experience of such sex assignment, end quote. And as that comment thread goes on to explain, my language throughout the video is more than likely a result of internalized transphobia. The video lacks the nuance needed to have the intended conversation. My confusing presentation paired with my ignorance on trans experience led to the conflation of the terms AFAB and woman in the video, which could either be read as me using AFAB to make a distinction between cis women and trans women, or me using AFAB as a way to misgender or ignore the identity of trans men and non-binary people. Either way, my actions and language were harmful and dangerous. In terms of mentioning trans women, specifically in the video, the pace at which I present their experience was also alienating, as I clearly separate them from cis women and other people assigned female at birth by not including their experience from the onset of the conversation. I treat the trans woman experience as an afterthought in a video about womanhood, capital W. To summarize, I was overstepping my place. If I wanted to include the experience of trans women in my video, I should have reached out to trans women who felt comfortable sharing their experience with me. I should have also reached out to trans men and non-binary individuals in order to check my insistence on including them in a video about womanhood. I want to sincerely apologize to the trans women who watched that video and were excluded by my language and invalidated by my failure to thoughtfully include your experience. I also want to apologize to the trans men and non-binary people who watched that video for insinuating with my mishandling of language that your identity is invalid or that your gender and livelihood will always be defined by what sex you were assigned at birth. Here are some more comments that called me into accountability. I try to do my own self-reflection with the aid of my comment section, but I would 100% recommend hearing what actual trans people have to say on the matter because I am ignorant and research doesn't fully cure that. It takes experience most times. I hope you take the time to pause and read them or scroll through the original comment section to hear other viewpoints. I also want to thank you for approaching me with this information, but I also acknowledge that it's not so much about me as it is about the communities who are rightfully frustrated and want their voices heard instead of drowned out by so-called allies. Moving forward, I would like to actively platform the experiences and voices of the communities I talk about. In the past, I have simply asked for submissions in my community tab, but I thought, that's not extra enough. That's not borderline insufferable. So I created a newsletter called The Tragedy of Errors, reminiscent of William Shakespeare's The Comedy of Errors, but Ain't shit funny about getting things wrong. This newsletter will be periodic and won't show up in your inbox every month for every video, but when it does, you'll get an exclusive look at any upcoming video topics I have planned that may need your input. Here's how it works. You go to my website, www.shanspear.com. Look at that. Beautiful. You would scroll down past all this nonsense, and underneath the title Connect with Me, you'll find the link to the sign up page for the newsletter. Enter your email address, follow any additional instructions if they present themselves, and then you'll be ready to receive TOE whenever I'm ready to send it off. Yes, I'm calling it TOE, and it's completely free. I'm going to use this tentative March edition as an example of what you can expect. I begin by giving you a little background information about the video topic before stating here which communities are needed for the production of this specific video. As you see here, since I'm doing a video on euphoria, I'd appreciate submissions by trans women, sex workers, people with addictions / people recovering from addictions, and so on. Then I have specific prompts related to those communities based on the direction I want to take the video in, or just general information I want to include in character profiles or what have you. I also want to include a general section for everyone who is not connected to the previous communities, just as a way to gauge your thoughts and opinions on the topic. Maybe we can even do a live stream a few weeks before I publish a video just to have a fruitful conversation about the topic. I don't know exactly how I feel about that yet because I have an anxiety disorder, and public speaking in real time seems like something that will kill me. Let me know what you think in the comments though. I think it could be a really cool addition to our channel. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm aware that this won't solve my ignorance or soothe the emotional damage that I caused, and I know it's impossible to cover every perspective in the world. That's not really my goal here. I hope that this can be a stepping stone to more nuanced conversations on my channel and a more interactive and inclusive community that isn't dominated by one limited view. Thank you for watching this far. This is why live stream talking would be unbearable, not just because I have anxiety, but because I am incapable of shutting up once I get going. I'll see you in March with a video about vampires. I haven't talked about Twilight in nearly a year, and I'm beginning to foam at the mouth. Might get Dracula online. Might get in touch with my student loan providers. Who knows, but we'll make it a party. Bye. Love you.